Underway in Sandton, north of Johannesburg, is due to make a critical decision whether the trade in ivory, rhino horn and shark fins should be shut down or not. So far, CITES has recommended that all parties and non-parties in whose jurisdiction there is a legal domestic market for ivory close trade as a matter of urgency. South Africa's trade proposal in rhino horn, which some SADC countries supported, was rejected on Tuesday. Rhinos are on the brink of extinction as more than 700 have been poached in South Africa alone this year. And we now cross live to the CITES conference in Sandton. That's where my colleague Tammy Dixon is standing by.
Well, thank you very much, Aubrey, and welcome here at the Sandton Convention Center, where the CITES conference is underway. You remember that they've just come back for a 2 days break. They haven't been here since last Thursday. They're back here now after having enjoyed a bit of Johannesburg, Gauteng province, seeing the wildlife here and having fun. But now they are back into business. They are now busy with a whole range of issues, including the ones that we have mentioned, Aubrey, especially the ivory domestic market is a very controversial issue here. Tomorrow we are expecting again them to talk about the issue about the ivory stockpiles. There are countries who are having like massive stockpiles of ivory, which they don't know what to do about them. Some of them actually want to sell them, but the view here is that those stockpiles must be destroyed. And so we're going to get into deep waters now as the conference is approaching its end. But one of the decisions that has been taken this morning is actually a very interesting one, that the international trade on parrot is now banned. So no country is allowed to trade on this famous bird parrot anymore. That decision has been taken here this morning. I have a pleasure now of being joined here by the chairperson of the Parrot Breeders Association of Southern Africa, Mr. Ben Minnaar, who's going to talk to us about the implications of the decision that has been taken this morning. Mr. Minnaar, are you happy with the voting this morning that bans the international trade on these parrot birds?
Well, we hope that it would go otherwise. You know, we were convinced that on scientific basis it wasn't founded. But they needed a 2/3 majority to uplist African greys from CITES Appendix 2 to CITES Appendix 1. And the vote was in favor of the uplisting. So, you know, we abide by that and we will work with that. But the implication thereof is that South African bird breeders who used to commercially export African greys will not be able to do so anymore.
And how is that going to affect you? Is it going to affect you in monetary terms, or you know, the fact that you're not going to have now international clients, it must going to be a very difficult thing for you?
I think it's a bad thing for South Africa itself. You know, I think we export in the vicinity of 65,000 African greys babies a year at about $300, which make about 300 million rand. So it's a huge blow, but it's not the end of the line. The positive thing is that most countries express their view that the strict conditions under which CITES usually have registration at the CITES Secretariat may not apply in this instance. So we may be able to register the breeding of African greys with the CITES Secretariat without too much problems. We certainly hope so. You can only now export African greys if you are registered with the Secretariat in Switzerland. We will pursue that, and as soon as possible we will submit our applications in that regard.
And also the domestic market has been left untouched. In other words, you can still be able to do whatever that you want to do as long as you're doing it inside the country. Yes,
we may sell the birds locally. Any person that has an African grey need not worry. It's not a contravention of any regulation to have an African grey. It's just the international trade. CITES is about international trade, and this is also about international trade. So that's the only factor that's influenced.
And also, you know, I understand that South Africa has also been importing these birds, especially the wild parrots, from elsewhere, Congo and other countries. That is going to stop now.
Yes, when we made use of the approved CITES quotas in the past, we have about 100,000 African greys that was legally imported into South Africa. But the gene pool that we have is big enough to now, I think, ad infinitum, breed African greys without the problem of inbreeding. and we don't actually need more African greys. To say the truth, we can now export, and we even indicated to the CITES Secretariat that we are willing to contribute towards the Rhine states to assist them as well, because they have challenges as well.
Mr. Minnaar, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Mr. Ben Minnaar talking about the implications of one of the decisions that has been taken here this morning about banning international trade on this famous bird known as the parrot. You would know the parrot, Aubrey, is that bird that has that extraordinary ability to be able to imitate human speech. So that the trading now on that bird has been banned. There's a decision that came here. The conference is beginning now to take very serious decisions, and by later today and early tomorrow morning, we are likely to see more decisions that are going to bite. And South Africa is feeling the pinch here because some of the proposals that it has put forward are getting now into a very, very difficult space, because they've just lost now on this battle now on the parrot, as you heard from Mr. Ben Minnaar. So it's not easy here. It's a battleground. Countries are really fighting, but we'll see as time progresses how's that going to pan out. With that, it's back to you in the studio, Aubrey.
And many thanks to Tammy Dixon there, our reporter, coming to us live from the CITES COP17 conference, which is currently underway in Sandton, north of Johannesburg. Now to some